Hello Kinetech PM users, we are really excited to announce our Kinetech PM Digital Innovation Release. As you guys know, at Kinetech, we are always looking for ways to drive value for you and your interior construction projects to ensure you have an excellent experience with us and, more importantly, get a quick return on your investment. At Kinetech, we spoke to many of you and we listened and quickly understood that install tracking on dirt projects was a real pain point with limited visibility. So since Kinetech, we've been working with our community of users and are now ready to bring you our first release of the install tracker. As I'm sure you guys are aware by now, labor costs are one of the greatest costs on any dirt project. So regardless if you're using an internal install team or a third-party install team, by being able to track the actual time for each supervisor, tech, and labor on the job site for each install activities being done, this will then help you forecast better, potentially reward productive teams, and hold less productive ones more accountable. By estimating and accurately capturing specific activities, the install tracking module will help you guys provide better cost and time estimates to your clients, understand and comprehend the additional effort required for varying project complexities and industries, which will make a little bit more sense when I dive into the demo here in a second. And then another thing that I'm going to point out today is our reporting capabilities that we have per project. So we showcase obviously the install activities, billables and deficiencies, and then we're rolling out the processing times for change orders, deficiencies, and orders. So I think you've heard enough of me talking by now. Let's just dive into the application and take a look at the install tracker. Okay guys, I just jumped into a project of mine. So far, again, this should all be looking pretty simple and normal, everything that you're used to. One thing I would like to point out is you now have a reporting tab on the top right. I will show this in a little bit. So in order to actually accurately estimate our installs, we built it off of our quotes. So if you jump into a quote now, one thing that you're going to notice is that you have two different toggles. You can create a detailed install estimate or a summary install estimate. The first thing you're going to notice is you can have complexity types. So a complex project could be, for instance, a healthcare project, something that has a ton of different cutouts, COM items, technology. A moderate could be maybe a commercial project with standard stack and solid walls, and then a basic project could maybe just be some glass fronts with some simple solid demising walls. I can capture how many doors I have on the project, same with total lineal footage. And then of course the number of supervisors, techs, and laborers I think should be on the job site. Then down here, it's building it out per activity type. So notice that I have a ton of different activity types based on standard installs. So for instance, on receiving, I think it's going to take a total of 38 hours. And then I can break it out per labor type as well as regular time and overtime. Keep in mind that your total time will calculate everything that you have on this row. So for instance, if I change it to 10 and I tab over, and maybe 10 again, it's automatically updating my total time. We also included an other just for any kind of miscellaneous install activities that don't fall under these selections. Another thing I'd like to point out, so if I were to toggle back to my install summary, what it does is it basically calculates all of my hours together. So it brings the overtime and regular time and calculates them and brings that sum right here. It still separates all the labor types though. But for today, I'm going to stick with my detailed. So actually, to track our installs, we built it under the status reports. So as you can tell, status report right now looks pretty simple. Looks about the same. That's until you open it. So you have our description for today as day 1. And again, this is everything that your installers on the job site that can do. They can pull this out on their mobile device, tablet, whatever they have. Another thing that I'd like to point out is install activity. So the activities that are associated to the status report, they do not have to be related to install. So these are, but this one is not. So I'm going to quickly create a new activity. What I did is I just checked that little box. And what I'm going to say is that it's a layout. And we have laid out, let's just say 4,000 lineal feet. And I have one supervisor, 2 techs, and let's just say 3 laborers. And if I wanted to be a little bit more descriptive, I could. So I could say layout of northwest corner elevations AA to ZZ. And here it is. It's now populated down here. It's also calculating all of my worker numbers, hours, and lineal footage below. So if I scroll down to the very bottom, you'll notice that I have install activity details. If you expand that, again, I get a nice snapshot of everything I had above. So I want to quickly show you guys the updated field status report because we did edit it a little bit to include the install activities. Again, just to communicate accurately with anybody that you share this to, whether it's your clients or GCs, or if you just keep it internally. And then down here, you'll actually start to understand that we do have the install tracker. So here's your progress report. As you can tell that I have completed this project. It's based off of my estimate versus actual hours. You see my total lineal feet, my total doors. But what's neat about this is you can see the estimated hours and my actual hours logged to date. So for instance, I estimated it was going to be about I was going to install 18 lineal feet per hour. But the reality is we were installing about 15 lineal feet per hour. You can also see the delta and the over and under. And then if I were to open up any of these, if I just double click them, again, I see a nice understanding of my regular time and my actual time. All pretty self-explanatory, and like everything with Kinetech, we try and keep it as user-friendly as possible. And so far, you can see that it is very, very simple. I do want to go ahead and create my install tracker report to say that if I wanted to communicate this with my third-party install teams, I could. So then from here, that is our install tracker. Again, I get a nice understanding of what I estimated and then what I actually had, but I actually want to go ahead and see some reporting capabilities off of this. So if I jump over here to my reporting tab on the top right, I immediately see some things that obviously that are specific to install activity. So I can just click that button and I'm taken again to my install progress. Overall here, again, estimated hours, actual hours, everything that I saw over in my status report tab. And then down here, I see my estimate versus actual hours. And if I were to just click around, all of these change a little bit. Same with my supervisor versus laborer and techs. And then you can tell I have my delta estimate versus actual hours. So for instance, on all of these, I definitely was underestimating them. And then for estimate versus actual hours, again, I can just click around to see the specific data that I want to see. So another thing about the reporting tab that I'd like to point out is I do have processing times average number of days. So for instance, that is the change order. So the average number of days on this project, it went from requested to approved. Same with my deficiencies. Number of days it went from identified to installed. And my order from submitted to process. So as you guys know, I am in the acceptance environment, which is in the play environment, so I don't have any data. But what you guys could just do is refresh that, and then you would quickly see your average number of days. What's going to be pretty neat about this is that this is reporting per project for now. Soon you guys will see the reporting capabilities we will roll out for all of your projects. That will give you average number for all of your projects. Also it will show you the average across all Kinetech PM users. So again, just so you can kind of understand different details. And then you can also review billables and deficiencies now too per project. So I can understand my billables and deficiencies by cause. And then also too my billables and deficiencies by liable party. Well, that's it for me today, guys. Please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions or any comments. Like always, please continue to submit feedback, because we do log that and we are getting better off of your feedback, and we really appreciate it. So thank you again for your time today, and we look forward to talking to you soon. Thank you.